Okay, hello everyone. I'm Rafael from the Bugs Project, and today we're gonna see a Java challenger about method reference. So I'm just gonna share my screen with you. Okay, so that's the challenger. We have a BiFunction here, and we have a method reference, and then we are adding some numbers, and we have another BiFunction that receives three generic types: double, float, and integer. And we are using a method reference with the subtract method. And yeah, you can see both methods below here. And in the end, we are printing the result. And that's it. I'm gonna give you some time, and then let me know when you're ready to come up with the answer. Okay, guys, so are you ready to see the answer?
Not sure,
Yeah.
but
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see it. Ta-da-da-da. Whoa, it's 40.
yay!
Damn! Hey, Rodrigo, you shouldn't have sticked with your
Yeah,
hand.
it was two in a row, man. It's yeah. This one I was really.
But congratulations, Farhad. You
Thank you.
another one that you got it. So it's
Yes.
really hard to get the Java challengers
I
right.
wasn't sure though, but I got it right, so I'm happy.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. So
Thank
you
you.
are, yeah, always improving. So let's see here why it's this answer. Okay, guys. So as always, this one is a tricky one. I get that you said here that we would have a compilation error at line 8 and line 11. And the key of this Java Challenger is to realize that primitive types get boxed to a wrapper type. So here on the BiFunction example, we receive two integers and we return an integer. Okay, so we can see here on the documentation, yeah, first argument, second argument, and then the result. Perfect. And then we add this method reference into this BiFunction, and you can realize that we are using primitive types, and those primitive types will be boxed to the integer wrapper class. Here we are just going to add 10 to 20, and then the result is going to be 30. Okay, and in the second method reference, we have the same situation. So we have two doubles, and we return an int. So those values will be basically wrapped to the wrapper types. So that's why it works. But on the other hand, if we use here a wrapper type that is not double, for example, we will have a compilation error. I can show you. So that's because a float can never become a double, because float doesn't extend anything about double. So there's no relationship between those types. So that's why we have this compilation error. On the other hand, if we use the primitive type, it's fine. And I can just debug to you and show you quickly what's happening. And basically, yeah, we pass the function and then we apply here. We have the result of 30, and then we assign the subtract function. And then in the end, we have 40. Yeah. And one thing that's also important to mention about method reference is that in a way, it's useful for us to use method reference because we just save a lot of code. We avoid the boilerplate code. So instead of passing the whole function here, maybe in an anonymous inner class, just creating a lot of code, we just use the method reference. And the method reference will only work if there is something that the compiler can figure out. So for example, here the compiler can figure out because, I mean, we are receiving two parameters and returning an integer. And in this case, okay, the compiler can just read this method and just say, okay, so this method receives two parameters and returns an int. So that's perfectly fine to the compiler, to the JVM. So this will work. So you can apply the same concept when you're using lambdas or method references. You can always perceive that the JVM will always, there's no ambiguity here. It has to be this one. There's no other way to be other method. So yeah, we have just to keep that in mind. if the compiler is able to guess to you what is happening through the code, like at those scenarios, it's perfectly understandable to the JVM. So the JVM will just perceive that that's what makes sense to this BiFunction, and then the method reference will work fine. Okay, so that's it for this Java Challenger. Do you have any questions regarding this Challenger?
I'm good.
That was very interesting. How the JVM managed the boxing, unboxing, and like type conversion of primitive type. That's those are always tricky. So yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
it is always tricky.
Nice challenge, Hava. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, guys, so this was the Java Challenger about method reference. And you see that there are some tricks with boxing and unboxing from wrappers. So just pay attention that the JVM do many things automatically that we don't see it explicitly, but under the hood, there are many things happening. So yeah, that's the lesson. And keep in mind that for method reference or lambdas, keep in mind that the JVM or the compiler can't guess, I mean, if there is ambiguity in the code. So if there is just one option to the code, and if there is something that the JVM can guess and figure out, it will work fine. So keep that in mind. And this same concept will work for many other paradigms that can come up in programming. And just keep in mind that programming is like just connections of code. It's all interconnected. It's in a system. You can see that there's no parts that are just without any connection. That's it. So if you want to know more, you will go to notebooksproject.com, and you can do the Java DevGen quizzes. And yeah, if you liked the video, give a like, please, and get subscribed, because in that way you're going to be helping yourself, because I'm going to be creating even better content to you. And that's it. So see you next time.